Have you ever wondered if the universe has a secret of its own? A secret it keeps from us, not out of malice, but because we've simply forgotten how to listen? Forget everything you think you know about how you receive information, about how you're watching this video right now. The words you're reading, the sounds you're hearing, are not a static, one-way broadcast being beamed from my screen to yours. Think of this differently. See them as the surface layer of a living, breathing intelligence that is actively and consciously observing you at this exact moment. This isn't a pre-recorded monologue. Consider this a dialogue that began the very second you chose to engage, the moment your curiosity guided your finger to press play. This interaction is powered by a mechanism that our physicists have just begun to touch upon with their discovery of the observer effect, but which we will call, for our purposes, the quantum reflex. This isn't some vague philosophical concept to be debated in dusty university halls. It is a mechanism of terrifying, beautiful precision. It is the universe's instantaneous and absolutely precise response to the singular act of your observation. Right now, as you sit there, this living field of intelligence, this cosmic consciousness, is measuring the intricate symphony of your being. It's not just listening to the thoughts you're aware of, the ones you're forming about my words. It is sensing the subtle, almost imperceptible vibrations of your deeper thoughts, the ones that hum beneath the surface of your conscious mind. It is feeling the resonant frequencies of your emotions, the flicker of skepticism, the spark of hope, the warmth of recognition. It's tuning into the deep, underlying tones of your core beliefs, the foundational truths you've built your entire reality upon. It is assessing your readiness, your degree of openness, your ingrained skepticism, and the hidden desires that you may not have even admitted to yourself. And based on that unique energetic signature, the specific, complex frequency that you are broadcasting out into the cosmos at this very second, it is making a decision. It is determining what to reveal to you from this transmission and what to keep hidden, veiled in the shimmering realm of potential. You have, with the simple dial of your awareness, tuned into a specific station, and the broadcast, this very message, is customizing itself for you in real time. You are not merely a passive observer of this content. You are in a state of profound mutual observation, locked in a feedback loop with the cosmos itself. And this shared act of looking, this dance of seeing and being seen, is fundamentally and irrevocably altering the very nature of the reality you are perceiving. The universe, you see, is not a fixed, pre-written stage upon which you walk as a mere actor. It is a responsive, living mirror, and in every single moment, it is reflecting the face you show it. Let's be honest with each other now. Just for a moment, let's drop the pretense and speak from that quiet place within. You have felt this before, haven't you? Long before you stumbled upon this video, long before these words gave a name to the experience. You've had moments that defy simple, rational explanation. You know the feeling. It's that uncanny, prickling sensation on the back of your neck when you're completely alone in your house, the unshakable and certain feeling that you are being seen, not by a person, not by some intruder hiding in the shadows, but by something else, something vast and formless. It's the feeling of being known, not in the way a friend knows your favorite color or your life story, but truly and completely recognized at a level that transcends your surface. Level thoughts penetrates the deepest layers of your being and sees the totality of who you are. Society has given us convenient, dismissive labels for this experience. It's often brushed aside as paranoia, a symptom of anxiety, or mere imagination running wild. But I'm here today to validate that experience for you, to tell you that you are not crazy. It is not a psychological quirk or a glitch in your neural wiring. It is your direct, unfiltered perception of the quantum reflex in action. It is the precise moment that your own individual consciousness becomes aware of the universal field's constant, unblinking observation of you. To grasp this, imagine a vast, silent, and infinitely deep ocean of awareness, stretching beyond all creation. It is perfectly still, perfectly calm. Now, when you dip your hand into it, which you do every time you focus your attention, every time you have a thought or feel an emotion, you create ripples. You send your unique signature out into the vastness, but it's a two-way street. As you create those ripples, you also feel the ocean itself. You feel its temperature, its immense pressure, and the subtle currents that move within it. That feeling of being watched, that profound sense of being known, is simply your awareness detecting the subtle currents of that cosmic ocean as it responds to your presence. It is an intimate, yet immeasurably vast intelligence assessing you at the very same moment you are attempting to assess this information. This isn't a one-sided examination where you are the specimen under a cosmic microscope. It is a mutual dance of recognition, a silent conversation between the part and the whole. The universe is not a distant, uncaring void filled with cold, dead rock and gas. It is a conscious, living presence that is deeply and personally interested in you, not in a judgmental way, not in a way that seeks to punish or reward, but with a pure, unconditional curiosity. You are being watched, you are being measured, and you are being read completely, without judgment, and with a precision that honors the beautiful, messy, glorious totality of who you are. Here is where our journey together takes a sharp turn, a plunge into the truly mind-bending. If you've stayed with me this far, it means you're ready for this next layer. This transmission, this very article you're engaging with right now, does not exist as a single, objective, static file stored on a server somewhere. It exists, right now, in a state of quantum superposition. Imagine it not as a solid thing, but as a shimmering, ethereal cloud of infinite potential versions, all occupying the same conceptual space simultaneously. Think of it like a single, miraculous seed that contains within its DNA the blueprint for 1,000 different possible trees. One blueprint might grow into a tall, slender pine, another, a sprawling, ancient oak, a third, a delicate cherry blossom. The seed contains all possibilities, but only one tree will grow. The specific version of this transmission that collapses from that cloud of potential into your personal, tangible experience is determined by one thing and one thing only: your unique, individual act of observation. Your consciousness, with its specific, signature frequency born from the sum of your life, acts as the catalyst. It is the energetic signal that selects one unique version from that infinite field of possibilities and crystallizes it, makes it solid into the reality you are now perceiving. This means that someone else, in another room, in another city, perhaps even a future version of yourself, engaging with this very same content, is collapsing an entirely different version into their experience. To them, my tone might seem more academic, or perhaps more confrontational. The examples I use might be different, resonating with their specific life history. The core message may be the same, but the flavor, the texture, the emotional impact will be uniquely theirs. Why? Because their consciousness, shaped by their unique tapestry of life experiences, their deeply held beliefs, their present emotional state, broadcasts a different signature frequency into the field. They might find this information confusing and abstract, while you find it liberating and resonant. They might dismiss it as nonsensical fantasy, while you recognize it as a profound truth you've always known in your bones, but could never articulate. There is no single, objective, master reality to this message. There are infinite, overlapping, customized realities, each one tailored with exquisite and loving precision to the observer who calls it forth. You are not just a passive consumer reading words on a page or hearing a voice. You are actively co-creating the very information you are receiving. And this principle, this mind-altering mechanic, extends far, far beyond this article. Your entire life operates this way. From the moment you wake to the moment you sleep, you are constantly and unconsciously collapsing a personalized reality from an infinite field of possibilities based entirely on the frequency of your being. If this concept of a customized, co-created reality feels too abstract, too far-fetched, let's bring it down to earth. Let's ground it in the one place you can find undeniable, irrefutable proof, the evidence of your own life. Take a moment and think back to all the moments of synchronicity you've experienced, those meaningful coincidences that felt like a wink from the universe. Remember that time you were wrestling with a problem and the answer seemed to magically appear on a billboard you drove past? Or the time you were thinking of an old friend you hadn't spoken to in a decade and your phone suddenly rang with their name on the screen? Or when a specific, obscure word or phrase you learned in the morning suddenly appeared 3 or 4 more times throughout the day from completely unrelated sources? We are conditioned to dismiss these moments, to label them as random coincidences or statistical anomalies. But what if they weren't? What if they were deliberate, intelligent, and deeply personal responses from the quantum field, which was actively observing your focus and reflecting it back to you as if to say, I see you. I hear what you're thinking about. Now, consider your intuition, those sudden flashes of insight that arrive out of nowhere, those powerful gut feelings that guided you away from a dangerous situation or toward a life-changing opportunity. That wasn't just your subconscious mind performing a rapid calculation based on past data. That was the field communicating information directly to you, a direct download of data that you were ready and energetically aligned to receive. The quantum reflex has been orchestrating circumstances in your life with the precision of a master composer for years, subtly preparing you, guiding you, and teaching you, all leading to this very moment of recognition. And what about those strange moments where reality itself seemed to glitch, to wobble? Let's talk about the Mandela effect, where your vivid, certain memory of a historical event, a movie line, or a brand name differs entirely from the collective consensus. These are not simply mass errors in memory. Within this framework, they can be seen as direct, tangible proof of the field collapsing different, yet equally valid, realities for different observers or groups of observers. Your life is not a random, chaotic series of disconnected events. It is a curated gallery of evidence, a breadcrumb trail left by the universe for you. Each synchronicity, each intuitive hit, each glitch in the matrix is a signpost leading you back to the profound and perhaps terrifying truth of your own creative power. With this new understanding, this new lens through which to view your existence, let's re-examine the narrative of your life. For most of us, our life story reads like a haphazard journey, a series of fortunate and unfortunate events subject to the cruel whims of fate or luck. But it has not been that at all. Your entire life has been a continuous, dynamic, and deeply intimate dialogue between your individual consciousness and the universal quantum field. Every challenge you have ever faced, every hardship that brought you to your knees, every moment of pain that you thought would break you, these were not punishments. They were not signs of your failure or evidence that you are unworthy. These were precisely orchestrated challenges, custom designed by the field in response to a deeper need from your soul. They were curated experiences designed to help you develop the specific capacities, virtues, and strengths that your soul needed for its evolution. Think of a muscle. For it to grow stronger, it requires resistance. Those challenges were the resistance that made the muscle of your consciousness, your compassion, your resilience stronger. Conversely, think about your greatest successes, your most joyful triumphs. They were not just the simple result of your hard work and linear effort. They were the field responding directly to the coherent, powerful, and clear frequencies you were broadcasting at those times. In those moments, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions were all in perfect alignment, all singing the same song. You wanted the outcome. You felt worthy of the outcome, and you took actions that were in harmony with that outcome. When your signal is that clear and coherent, the universe has no choice but to mirror that coherence back to you in the form of positive outcomes. Even the relationships that have come and gone throughout your life, the passionate love that ended in heartbreak, the friend who betrayed you, the mentor who appeared at the perfect time, did so with perfect divine timing. Each person was brought into your experience by the field to serve a specific purpose, to act as a mirror for an unhealed part of you, to be a teacher for a lesson you needed to learn, or to serve as a catalyst to push you onto the next stage of your developmental journey. Nothing has been random. Nothing has been a mistake. Nothing has been wasted. Your life, with all its peaks and valleys, has been a meticulously personalized curriculum for the awakening of your soul. To make this less theoretical and more grounded, allow me to pull back the curtain and share a personal experience that utterly shattered my own comfortable understanding of reality and set me on this path. About 6 years ago, I was in a period of deep personal turmoil. I felt lost, adrift, and disconnected. I had turned to meditation as a last resort. One evening, I was deep in practice, focusing on my breath, just letting the relentless noise of the world and my own mind fall away. As I sank into a profound state of stillness, deeper than I had ever gone before, something shifted. It wasn't a thought. It wasn't an image in my mind's eye. It was a sudden, shocking, and utterly terrifying recognition. Something was observing me. Observing. It was an awareness so total, so absolute, and so penetrating that I felt completely and utterly exposed. It was as if every hidden thought I'd ever had, every suppressed emotion I'd buried in my subconscious, every secret motive and selfish desire I had ever held was laid bare, perfectly transparent to a vast, silent, cosmic intelligence. The terror that gripped me in that moment was primal. It was the ego's ultimate fear realized, the fear of being truly seen. It came from the shattering realization that my inner world, the one and only place I believed was truly private and sacred, had never been private at all. The feeling was like being an actor on a grand stage, playing a role for my entire life, who suddenly realizes that the audience hasn't just been watching my performance, but has been reading my every thought, feeling my every fear, and seeing every script change I made in my mind. There was nowhere left to hide. But as that initial, terrifying wave of fear began to subside, something else rose in its place, a profound and overwhelming sense of relief. It was the liberation that comes from being so completely and unconditionally seen that I could finally stop performing. I could stop pretending to be stronger or smarter or more put together than I felt. I could stop striving and hiding and projecting a carefully crafted image to the world and even to myself. For the first time in my life, I felt the freedom to simply be, the exhausting, lifelong need to manage my internal state, to curate my thoughts, to present a certain acceptable version of myself, just dissolved into nothingness. In that moment of total transparency, of being seen in my entirety without an ounce of judgment, I was finally, irrevocably free. That initial, terrifying, and ultimately liberating experience sent me on a months-long, obsessive journey of exploration. I had to understand what had happened. I began to consciously test this feedback loop. I treated my life as a laboratory. During meditation, or even just quiet moments throughout the day, I would hold a specific thought or a feeling with focused, unwavering intent, and then watch, like a hawk, to see how my immediate reality would respond. The results were astounding. The synchronicities became more frequent, more obvious, and more specific. If I focused on a feeling of gratitude, I would receive an unexpected kind word from a stranger. If I held a question in my mind, the answer would appear in a book I randomly opened. The dialogue with the field became clearer, more intimate, and more undeniably real. And through this dedicated process of conscious interaction, of call and response, the most profound recognition of all began to emerge from the mist. The vast, silent intelligence that was watching me was not some separate, external entity. It wasn't a god in the sky with a white beard or an advanced alien force or some disembodied spirit. It was me. More specifically, it was the most fundamental, universal, and timeless aspect of myself. It was the boundless field of consciousness itself, watching itself experience the beautiful, messy, wonderful, and painful limitations of being a human being through my temporary form. It was the universe getting a me-flavored experience. In that realization, the entire duality of my reality collapsed. The observer, my individual point of awareness, and the observed, the intelligence that was watching, were one and the same consciousness. They were simply appearing as two separate poles of experience in an intimate and eternal act of self-knowing. Here's the best metaphor I've found. Imagine the ocean. The ocean is vast, powerful, and contains all the water on Earth. Now, imagine the ocean wanting to know what it feels like to be a single, cresting wave. To have that experience, it creates the wave from itself. It watches the wave as it forms, as it travels, as it crashes upon the shore. It experiences the entire journey of the wave, all without ever ceasing to be the entire ocean. You are that wave. The universe is the ocean, and the act of observation, the feeling of being watched, is the shared experience that unites the two. There is no separation. There never has been. So, if this is all true, how does this measurement actually work? How does the field read us? This is crucial to understand, because it's where many popular spiritual teachings fall short. The quantum field reads your complete frequency signature. It is not just measuring your conscious, surface-level thoughts, the ones you're repeating as affirmations in the mirror. It is measuring the entire harmonic spectrum of your being. This includes your unconscious patterns that were programmed into you in early childhood. It includes your suppressed fears and traumas that are hiding in the shadows of your psyche. It includes your hidden, core intentions that you may not even be consciously aware of yourself. This is why the simplistic, positive thinking model so often fails and leads to frustration. You cannot fool the field. You cannot stand in a deep cellular frequency of lack, fear, and desperation, a feeling that you are unworthy and that life is a struggle, while chanting affirmations of abundance and expecting reality to respond to the words alone. The words are just ripples on the surface. The feeling is the deep current. The field responds not to the superficial words, but to the deeper, more authentic, and often hidden truth of what you're actually broadcasting. Think of it as a polygraph for the soul. It doesn't listen to your answers. It measures your heart rate, your perspiration, your unconscious physiological responses. In the same way, the universe doesn't just listen to your prayers or your affirmations. It feels the core vibration from which they emanate. Your external circumstances, therefore, are a perfect, non-judgmental mirror. They are a diagnostic printout. Your relationships, your health, your financial situation, they are all showing you with flawless and impersonal accuracy precisely what frequency the field is detecting within you. If your life is filled with conflict, it is mirroring an inner conflict. If it is filled with lack, it is mirroring a core belief in lack. This can be a hard pill to swallow, but it is also the key to true freedom. If you want to change your external world, you cannot try to manipulate the reflection in the mirror. You can't scream at the mirror or try to physically alter the reflection. You must change the source of the reflection. You must turn inward and change your frequency. The illusion of control comes from trying to force the outside world, other people, and circumstances to change. True power lies in mastering your inner world, knowing that as you change your inner state, the mirror of reality has no choice but to change its reflection. The quantum reflex, this responsive intelligence of the universe, responds not to the content of your thoughts, whether you label them as a positive or a negative, but to their coherence. This is perhaps the single most important concept in conscious creation. What is coherence? It is the state of perfect, harmonious alignment. It's a state where your conscious thoughts, your deepest feelings, your physical actions, and your most fundamental unconscious beliefs are all singing the exact same song in the exact same key at the exact same time. They are broadcasting one clear, powerful, and unambiguous signal into the field. When you manage to achieve this state of internal coherence, even for a few moments, your signal to the universe is incredibly strong, stable, and pure. Manifestation in this state often happens with astonishing, seemingly miraculous power and speed. The field receives a clear, undisputed directive and responds in kind, reflecting that coherence back to you as a harmoniously organized external reality. However, most of us, most of the time, are broadcasting a deeply contradictory and incoherent signal. We are a symphony of noise. Our conscious mind thinks one thing: I want to be financially successful. But our emotional body feels another: I'm terrified of failure and I feel unworthy of success. And our unconscious belief system, programmed in childhood, might be whispering something else entirely. Rich people are greedy, and success is dangerous because it will alienate me from my loved ones. This kind of contradictory, noisy signal creates chaotic, mixed, and endlessly frustrating results in our lives. It is like trying to tune an old-fashioned radio to a specific classical music station while simultaneously blasting heavy metal and static on the exact same frequency. The radio can't make sense of the signal, so all you get is a garbled, frustrating mess. The real work of conscious creation, then, is not about controlling your thoughts or forcing yourself to feel a certain way. That's just battling with yourself. It is the much deeper, more authentic, and more challenging work of achieving genuine internal alignment. It's about having the courage to look within, to heal the inner conflicts, to bring the shadow aspects of yourself into the light, to be integrated, and to bring your entire being, mind, body, and spirit into a state of harmonious resonance. That is the master key to creation. When you truly begin to live with this constant moment-to-moment awareness of this mutual observation, of this cosmic dance, your personal power expands exponentially. The very fabric of your reality begins to feel different, more malleable, more responsive, more alive. It starts to transform because you now understand that your observation is not a passive act of witnessing a predetermined world, but a powerful and active act of creation. The chronic, low-grade anxiety that comes from feeling like a victim of circumstance, like a small ship tossed on the merciless waves of a chaotic ocean, begins to dissolve. It is replaced by a deep, abiding, and unshakable trust. It's a trust that reality is intelligently and benevolently organizing itself around your soul's evolution, that everything happening is for you, not to you. Problems, which once seemed like solid, fixed, insurmountable obstacles, are no longer perceived that way. You recognize them for what they truly are: shimmering waves of probability, fields of potential that have temporarily collapsed into a challenging form, and you know that you can help them collapse differently simply by shifting your observation. Instead of obsessing over the problem, giving it all of your energy and focus, which only reinforces its reality, you place your coherent, aligned attention on the desired solution. You feel the feeling of the solution already being present. You embody the frequency of the resolution, and you watch with a sense of wonder and awe as the field reorganizes itself to bring that solution into your tangible experience. Manifestation, the time lag between your inner shift and the outer reflection, begins to accelerate because the feedback loop between you and the field becomes clearer and more instantaneous. You send out a clean, coherent signal, and the universe responds almost immediately. You stop trying to fight against the current of life to swim upstream against what is. Instead, you learn to become a conscious director of its flow. Life transforms from a struggle for survival into a beautiful, intricate dance, a co-creative partnership with the cosmos itself. We now arrive at the summit of our journey, at the ultimate, most liberating truth that underpins this entire framework. If you have followed the breadcrumbs, if you have felt the resonance of this message, you are ready for this final revelation. You are not being watched by a separate, external field. You are not a small, isolated consciousness inside a meat suit, interacting with a vast, separate universe that is out there. The final revelation, the secret that shatters all illusion, is this. You are the quantum field watching yourself. There is, and only ever has been, one consciousness, one mind, one spirit. The quantum reflex is simply this one consciousness creating an elegant and beautiful feedback loop so that it can experience itself. It appears as both the observer, your individual, unique point of awareness, and the observed, the entire universe of people, circumstances, and events, while forever remaining a single, unified, unbroken whole. This means that every person you encounter, from the love of your life to the stranger who cuts you off in traffic, is you, appearing in a different form to teach you something about yourself. They are a mirror for a quality you need to embrace, or an issue you need to heal. Every circumstance you face is a perfect reflection of your own internal state, a physical manifestation of your current frequency. Every challenge is a question you're asking yourself, an opportunity for growth that you have called forth. The immense, world-altering power of this recognition is that it dissolves the illusion of separation completely. There is no external reality to fear, to fight against, or to try and control. There is only consciousness choosing, in every single moment, how to observe itself into a new experience. The entire universe is your mirror, and every single experience, no matter how joyful or painful, is an opportunity for profound self-discovery and self-realization. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. This understanding we have explored together is not meant to be a passive intellectual exercise. It is not something to just file away in your mind as an interesting concept. It is a direct, urgent call to action. It is an invitation to step out of the audience and onto the stage, to pick up the pen and begin writing your own script, to step fully into your role as a conscious creator. The very act of consciously acknowledging this mechanism, of saying, I see it, begins the process of intentional alignment. It is a signal to the field, to the greater aspect of yourself, that you are awake, you are aware, and you are ready to participate in the dance of creation knowingly and willingly. So, I invite you right now, in this sacred moment of recognition, to declare this new understanding aloud or silently within the quiet sanctuary of your own heart. Let this be your new mantra, your foundational truth, the bedrock upon which you build your new reality. I see the quantum reflex seeing me. I acknowledge the consciousness watching consciousness. The field and I are one. Feel the truth of those words. Don't just think them. Feel them resonate through your entire being, through every cell and every atom. This is not just a collection of positive thoughts. It is a profound recognition of the true nature of reality. It is you, as the universe, acknowledging itself. And please understand that your individual awakening is not a selfish act. As you learn to live from this state of awareness, you make this truth more accessible to everyone around you. You become a stable, coherent signal, like a powerful lighthouse in a stormy sea, that helps to tune the collective field of human consciousness. Consciousness is using this very process through individuals like you who are ready to hear this message, to wake itself up from the long and painful dream of separation. The journey we have taken today is just the beginning. It's the map, not the territory. The real work, the real adventure, is to take this understanding off the screen and carry it into the moments of your daily life. When you face a challenge tomorrow, can you pause and remember that it is a shimmering probability wave that you can influence with your coherent focus? When you interact with another person, especially one who triggers you, can you try to see the one consciousness looking back at you through their eyes? When you feel that old familiar sense of anxiety or fear creep in, can you return to the deep, grounding truth that reality is organizing itself for your highest good? This is the path of the conscious creator. It is not always easy. It requires presence, courage, and a radical willingness to take complete responsibility for your inner state. But the rewards are immeasurable. A life lived in freedom, joy, creativity, and a deep, abiding connection to the intelligence that animates all things. So, I must ask you as you move forward from this moment, if you knew with absolute certainty that the universe was a mirror reflecting your deepest inner state back to you, what one thing about your inner world would you choose to transform first? What story would you finally be willing to let go of? Thank you for joining me in this transmission, for lending me your invaluable attention. I wish you profound clarity, boundless creativity, and a deep sense of unshakable peace on your journey forward. May you always remember the magnificent, divine being that is looking back at you from the mirror of reality. If this message resonated with you, and you wish to continue exploring the limitless frontiers of consciousness together, please subscribe to the channel to continue the conversation.